In the dark heart of Germania, beneath endless canopies of dripping pine and tangled oak, a Roman army marches confidently along a narrow forest track. Armor clinks, standards glitter, eagles shine. They believe they are invincible, the masters of the world, the heirs of Caesar and conquerors of nations. But what if everything they believed was about to be shattered forever? What if in these very woods an entire Roman army simply vanished from the earth? No battlefield trophies, no survivors returning home, only broken bones in the mud and scattered shields beneath the trees. What happens when the world's greatest military machine walks blindly into a trap designed by one of its own allies? What drives a man raised inside Rome to destroy it from the shadows? And how does a single ambush change the destiny of an empire that once claimed it would rule without end? This is the story of betrayal, rain-soaked terror, and 3 days of slaughter that turned proud legions into ghosts. Welcome to Teutoburg Forest, the place where Rome learned to fear the dark. It is the year 9 AD. On the frontier of the Roman world, the empire seems unbreakable. The legions stretch from the burning sands of Syria to the gray North Sea, from Egyptian deserts to Spanish hills. Roads, forts, and taxes bind the world together under one name: Rome. And yet, beyond the Rhine River lies a land Rome has not yet tamed, a land of marsh, forest, rumor, and pride, Germania. For nearly 2 decades, Roman generals have tried to transform Germania into another province. They build roads, they carve forts out of the wilderness, they demand hostages from tribal leaders, take their children to be raised the Roman way, and tell themselves that Romanization is inevitable. Among these hostages is a young boy, the son of a Cherusci noble. His name is Arminius. In Rome, he is trained as a cavalry officer. He learns Latin, wears Roman armor, feasts in Roman-style halls. He fights Rome's wars, bleeds for Roman glory, and earns citizenship and rank. To Roman commanders, he is the perfect example of a civilized German. But beneath the polished armor beats a heart that has never forgotten the deep forests of his homeland and the tribes that live free under the old gods. Rome thinks it has created a loyal soldier. In truth, it has created the most dangerous enemy it will ever face on this frontier. When Arminius returns to Germania, he does so not as a barbarian prince, but as a Roman officer serving under Publius Quinctilius Varus, the governor of Germania. Varus is confident, educated, and disastrously arrogant. He sees Germania not as a powder keg, but as a half-finished administrative project. He imposes taxes, demands obedience, and treats proud tribal leaders as if they are children learning to obey. To Varus, rebellion here is unthinkable. To Arminius, rebellion is inevitable. The tribes of Germania are not one nation. They feud, raid, and mistrust one another as much as they mistrust Rome. But Rome's heavy hand does what centuries of rivalry could not. It gives them a common enemy. In secret meetings beneath sacred trees, far from Roman forts and prying eyes, Arminius speaks to chieftains. He reminds them of land taken, sons taken, pride insulted. He tells them that Rome will never be satisfied, that forts will become cities, that cities will become chains. He promises them something unthinkable, not just resistance, but victory. All the while he stands beside Varus in council, smiling as an ally, advising like a friend, wearing his Roman decorations on his chest. Varus has no idea that the man he trusts most is composing his death sentence. Summer turns to fall, rain thickens, roads become rivers of mud. It is then that Arminius brings Varus news. A tribal revolt has begun, he says. Roman allies are in danger. They beg for Varus to march and assert order. Varus does exactly what Arminius knows he will. He gathers 3 legions, thousands of auxiliaries, families, servants, traders, wagons, baggage trains, a marching column stretched for miles. He leads them straight into the forest. Not a battlefield, not open terrain where Roman discipline is death incarnate. Instead, he enters a twisting maze of hills, swamps, ravines, and trees so thick that sunlight itself feels like an intruder. The farther they march, the louder the rain becomes, and the quieter the birds seem. Someone might ask the question, why are no enemy warriors visible? Why are allies suspiciously absent? Why is Arminius suddenly gone, riding ahead with a handful of cavalry scouts and promising to return? Varus sees none of it. He believes completely in Rome and in his trusted auxiliary commander. He keeps the column moving. Then, the first spear flies.
The spear doesn't just strike a soldier, it strikes the illusion of Roman control. For a heartbeat, there is silence, broken only by the rain tapping on helmets and shields. Then the forest explodes. From every ridge, every thicket, every curtain of leaves, Germanic warriors erupt with a roar that does not sound human to Roman ears. It is the sound of men who have waited their entire lives for this single moment. Spears whistle, javelins slam into shields, arrows fall like the rain itself. The Roman column cannot form ranks. They are stretched out, strung like a fragile thread through miles of twisting paths. Legionaries are forced off the road, slipping in mud, stumbling as wagons overturn and horses panic. The carefully drilled Roman formation, the machine that conquered nations, cannot exist here. The trees are too tight, the slope too steep, the path too narrow. The forest itself is an ally of the Germans. Officers scream orders that no one can hear above the thunder and the screams. Standards disappear in the mist. When a Roman standard falls, it is not just a piece of metal hitting the ground. It is a signal to every soldier that the gods are turning their faces away. Varus realizes far too late that this is not a revolt. It is not a small uprising that can be crushed with discipline. It is a trap so perfectly constructed that he cannot even see its edges. And the architect of that trap is the man he trusted most. Arminius does not return to Varus. He is gone from the Roman line not because he is scouting, but because he is now among the Germans, throwing off the last thin mask of loyalty. To his warriors, he is not a Roman officer. He is the avenger of Germania. He knows exactly how the Romans think, how they react, where they will try to form up, where their officers will stand, how far they can march when soaked, hungry, and terrified. He has turned Roman discipline into Roman weakness. The Romans try to force their way out of the forest, but every step leads them deeper into terrain chosen for their destruction. Wagons bog down, wheels snap, camp followers scream as they are caught in the stampede of panicked animals. Legionaries try to protect them and die for it. Others break and run, only to disappear into the green jaws of the forest, where waiting warriors strike from the shadows and vanish again. Night falls, not as a relief, but as a new enemy. Rain pours harder, fires refuse to light. Wounded men lie in the mud, listening to the forest whisper around them. Somewhere out there, the Germans are not resting, they are preparing the next blow. Varus orders a defensive camp, but there is no solid ground, no proper fortification. It is a parody of a Roman camp. Half-dug trenches filling with water, stakes sinking into sludge, men too exhausted to lift shovels. The legionaries are discovering something Rome almost never admits: fear, real fear, not the fear of losing a battle, but the fear of being erased. At the same time, the Germans feel something they have never felt before against Rome: certainty. They are not fighting for loot alone, they are fighting for survival, identity, gods, and land. Every fallen Roman is a message to the rest of the world: this forest is not for sale. And in the darkness, Varus finally understands the betrayal. The rebellion everywhere at once, the coordination, the timing, none of it is spontaneous. Only a Roman mind could plan the death of a Roman army this perfectly. That Roman mind belongs to Arminius. The second day dawns with mist crawling across the ground like a living thing. Romans stagger back onto the road, abandoning wagons and supplies in the desperate hope that speed will save them. But speed is impossible here. Every mile of forest is a calculated killing ground. The Germans attack again, not in a single dramatic charge, but in relentless, rolling strikes that never allow the legions to breathe. They attack the middle of the column, then the rear, then disappear and strike the front. They cut down officers first, targeting the brain of the army. They know that once orders stop, Roman discipline dissolves into isolated groups of terrified men, each thinking only of personal survival. Rain turns armor into anchors. Shields grow heavier with every step. The famous Roman gladius, so lethal in tight formation, becomes harder to use among tree roots and tangled undergrowth. Meanwhile, the Germans fight with long spears, axes, and swords meant for chaotic motion. They melt in and out of the forest, striking like ghosts and vanishing before a counterattack can be organized. The landscape itself becomes an executioner. Steep ravines funnel troops into choke points where waiting warriors rain spears from above. Marshes swallow men who stumble from the path. Horses slip and crush those beneath them. Every Roman footstep feels like it could be the last, and everywhere there is the drumbeat of rain, the thud of spears, the breaking of shields. Varus is wounded. Despair sinks into him like the water soaking his cloak. He has seen defeat before. Every Roman general has, but this is different. This is annihilation. There will be no organized retreat, no heroic last stand with banners waving. There will only be pieces of legions scattered in a place no Roman should ever have entered. Many officers choose suicide rather than capture, believing that death by their own hand is preferable to whatever the tribes will do to prisoners. Varus is among them. In that moment, the head of the snake severs itself, and the legions lose even the idea of central command. Still, pockets of Romans fight with insane courage. Small groups form shield walls between trees, buying a few more minutes of life with blood. Centurions stand until their last breath, shouting hoarse encouragement to men who know they are already dead. To the last, the legions do not beg, they fight, because that is all they were ever trained to do. By the third day, the slaughter becomes something beyond battle. It is butchery on a continental scale. Roman survivors try to run individually or in small bands, only to be hunted through the woods by warriors who know the land like they know their own heartbeat. Some are sacrificed in sacred groves, offered to the gods of the forest as thanks for victory. Others are enslaved, vanishing forever into villages beyond the Rhine. And then, almost as suddenly as it began, the sound of battle fades. What remains is silence, broken by crows. In the mud lie shattered shields, broken swords, twisted armor, and the bodies of thousands of men who once believed they were invincible. 3 Roman legions, 17th, 18th, and 19th, are gone. Not beaten, erased. Their numbers will never again be used by Rome. They are considered cursed. Teutoburg Forest has swallowed them whole.
News travels slowly across mountains and rivers, but when it reaches Rome, it does not arrive like a rumor. It arrives like an earthquake. The empire had believed Germania was almost pacified. Suddenly, they learned that 3 legions, cavalry units, auxiliaries, camp followers, tens of thousands of people have simply ceased to exist. There is no glorious defeat to spin into propaganda. There is no heroic general returning with stories of narrow escape. There is only absence. Emperor Augustus, the old man who once strode across the world as its master, is said to wander his palace in despair, crying out, "Quinctilius Varus, give me back my legions!" Whether the exact words are legend or truth, the emotion behind them is real. Rome has been punched in the soul. For the first time in living memory, Rome feels fear of the north. The empire does not collapse. Rome is still Rome. It sends armies to the Rhine, fortifies the frontier, and prepares revenge campaigns. But something fundamental has changed. Expansion into Germania, once seen as the next inevitable step, now looks like a door that bites the hand reaching to open it. Arminius becomes a legend among his people. To the Germans, he is the liberator who united tribes long divided by rivalry and ego. But victory does not bring peace. Tribal politics return, jealousy rises, and eventually even Arminius will fall to betrayal from his own kin. Yet his achievement remains carved deeper than any monument in stone. He proved that Rome could bleed. Teutoburg Forest becomes more than a place. It becomes a warning carved into Roman memory. Maps changed not because the land moved, but because Roman confidence did. The empire turns inward. Walls rise higher, frontiers harden, expansion slows. The dream of an easy conquest of the whole of Germania dies among the wet leaves and broken spears. Even centuries later, travelers would stumble upon bones in the forest, bleached white beneath moss and roots. They would find coins with Roman faces, helmets split by axes, fragments of eagles once carried proudly ahead of marching armies. The land itself refused to forget. Teutoburg is more than a military disaster. It is a moment where arrogance met reality. It is the story of how empires fall not only to strength from outside, but to blindness within. Rome believed roads and forts were enough. It believed that every land could be turned into another province simply by willpower and taxes. It forgot that people do not live on maps. They live in forests, on sacred ground, under old gods who do not care about Roman law. And it is the story of a man caught between 2 worlds. Arminius, Roman officer and German prince, forged by the empire and yet sworn against it. Without Rome's education, he could never have planned the ambush. Without Germania's passion, he would never have wanted to. He is proof that the most dangerous enemy is the one who learns your language, wears your armor, and knows exactly where your pride turns into weakness. In the end, Teutoburg Forest did not destroy Rome,
but it shattered the illusion of endless expansion. The empire would endure for centuries more, but something of its confidence died beneath those trees. The world's greatest war machine had walked into the dark, and the dark had swallowed it. And now, standing here, with history echoing through time, the question turns to us. What other stories lie buried under leaves and silence? How many moments changed the world because one person refused to submit? How many empires believed they were eternal right up until the moment they weren't? This has been Time's battlefield. If you were pulled into this journey through the shadows of Teutoburg Forest, make sure you don't just disappear like those lost legions. Stay with us, like the video, share it with someone who loves history as much as you do, hit that subscribe button, and tell us in the comments, which battlefield should we walk together next? History doesn't live in books. It lives in blood, mud, and memory. And we're just getting started.